Okay. You'll see the comments from the different platforms on the side,
Okay.
on the right-hand side. All right, let me get this going here. Make sure that we're good. Huh. Okay.
Not.
So, you guys are in Oregon? No,
We
Portland.
are
Yeah.
Portland.
Yeah, because I
Portland,
saw
Oregon.
you there. I saw you there. Remember
That's
that
where
was
we
in
met in the flat.
20. That was what, 2019? That was like September, October 2019.
Yeah. Yep.
God, I was just talking to Morgan today. I'm like, man, you realize how much stuff we got done in X period of time? I mean, it's just like mind blowing.
So much stuff. It's pretty amazing. Yeah. We were at Angela's house or Angie's house.
Yeah, Angie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, she's I just saw a picture of her son, the miracle son. He took a bullet to the face and he survived it, and he's thriving. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, he's doing real well. It's been probably about a year now, but yeah, he's done real well. So, gosh, so many things like that going on. Just different, people transitioning. All these different faces of the human experience and condition.
Yeah.
So is it cold up there right now?
It's chilly but sunny. It's really been a beautiful
Really?
weekend so far.
Yeah. It's still like in the 30s, sometimes 40s, but
Oh,
yeah.
you guys are doing all right then. So we're down in the 15s. And
Ooh.
you should be colder than we are. So, all right, they're coming in now. Let me give it a few more minutes. So yeah, we Morgan, she downloaded that we are supposed to bring couples on. And we really didn't know why. We just understood bring them on, but what seemed to have happened was like the actual experience of the relationship. It says it all. It's like in the story, right? I mean, because there's so many different assumptions regarding couples in this day and age, and
Yeah.
it's not all. I've been saying this every day, but it's not all unicorns and rainbows, and so
Yeah.
so it'll be interesting because how long have you guys been together?
25 years.
25
Okay.
years. Oh, it'll be February 8th. Will be the 25 years since our first kiss.
Is that right?
Yep.
That was technically when y'all came together with the first kiss, right?
That was it. I told him there's no way you'll ever be in my life for more than a friend. And then like a month later, it happened.
Well, well, there's so many, we call them coincidences or, hang on, let me just handle this. But I always mention them because I've always been guided to mention any synchronicities because somehow or another they carry code. And so I talked to Kimberly Ross. We're very good friends, about once a week.
Mm-hmm.
And since Franco transitioned, and anyway, I was talking to her a few days ago, and she said that how did this go? Somehow or another, I can't remember because she's been having she's going to come on the show. She told me last night. In the next few weeks, she's going to spend some time alone. But anyway, somehow or another, Franco gave her 2 dates, and one was February the 8th, and one was March the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
March the 10th is Morgan's birthday, and it's also the day that Soulogy was given to me in 2011.
Wow.
So yeah, there's got to be a reason that these numbers and dates and everything, line up. So
Yeah.
I thought I would mention it. So you guys met 25 years ago. So you're what, like at the time, 15?
We met 25 and a half years ago.
Yeah.
16. You're hilarious. So it was 1996 when we met. 96, babe.
Mm-hmm.
September 10th at the Dances of Universal Peace. I was wearing my
Wow.
mermaid dress, and he was wearing his dolphin shirt, and we.
Oh my God! So you guys were like forerunners. You guys were already like in the drinking the Kool-Aid.
I was.
So he goes as a dolphin. He went as a dolphin, and you went as a mermaid.
Yeah.
Well, I had a shirt covered with dolphins, and she wore a dress covered with fish. So we both had blue.
We've always been like this water element, a lot of that. My moon is in Pisces, and then I don't know what you have that's so watery, but lots of times when I kiss Frank, I feel dolphins like leaping between us.
I love for visualizations.
Yeah. So what was that, honey? September 10th, 1996. And so I think I was 34. Wait a minute. I was 31. Yeah.
I was 33. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So now at this point, have you had kids? Have you been in a previous marriage, or so this was the first? Virgins.
Yeah.
More or less. I did live with a woman for a couple of years, and
I'd had a few different relationships, but nothing like
she never moved in with anybody. And
so
kids.
Okay, so you guys go to this dance. It's a kind of a starseed light worker
Sufi dance.
And Sufi dance, cool. And so you see each other, but that night, was there a kiss that night?
No.
No, there wasn't a kiss that night. So was there any type of like, did your radar system go off mutually? Did you have any type of like, what the hell's going on here?
I was excited by her voice when I heard her sing. I thought, wow, that's really impressive. She must be a professional. And I was already kind of my radar was up because I was wanting to hire a musician to inspire my sister's kids into being more musical. I was trying to. There's songs that my family would sing together when I was growing up, and I wanted to pass that on to the next generation.
He was looking for Julie Andrews.
Were kind of. My nephews weren't that excited about my singing, so I thought, I'll hire somebody, and I heard her, and so I said, come on over and sing for my nephews. And she gives me a business card that she had just created a few hours earlier. So the timing was wonderful.
It was perfect. Oh, wow. I handed him my Sarah Sparkle Happy Heart sing-along cards. I had like one in each color of the rainbow, and I just went like this, like a deck of cards. Here, what color do you want? He was my first customer.
And so
$75.
$75 in 1996. That's a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
I mean, so many people in this community, we would be considered eccentric and, have our certain idiosyncrasies and that don't fall in line with the normal things. So you didn't blink an eye, Frank, at all? You just she came at you and you're like, oh, this is cool.
You were
let me see. We continued on as friends. We continued to get together as friends, September, October, November. And by New Year's, I was kind of interested. I was attracted to her. But I had mixed feelings. Like,
I'm a little weird.
And I'm probably nuts for even going in that direction. So like when she wasn't interested, I thought, oh, it's kind of a bummer, but it's also probably
relief.
Maybe I'm better off anyway. I don't know if I can.
Did you tell him you weren't interested?
Yeah,
I did. We were I told him that went to see Jerry Maguire on New Year's Day.
Show me the money.
Show me the money.
That's a date. That's a date.
Around my shoulder, and I lifted it off. And I
told him, my God,
I am not interested. You're not my type. I had a.
So why did you go to the movies with him?
Because we were friends. We went to movies. We'd seen a couple movies. We saw that Jodie Foster, Nell, and we'd been hiking. We've been to a few different like date type things. But
she's very comfortable doing a lot of stuff with male friends. Some people might think are pretty intimate or
Yeah, so it was not a big deal to me. But
yeah,
when he put his arm around me, I was like, oh, no.
So you told him right there on the spot.
I told him right on the spot. There's no way.
But he obviously forged through. If that was New Year's day, then this is February the 8th. So 5
Yeah,
weeks later, somebody busts the move.
he actually, what happened was, this is where it gets kind of woo woo, Todd. You know, you're
Uh-huh.
talking to me, right? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So the wind blew like 75 miles an hour for 3 days. And when my soul was death spelled, my body parts were carried away by the solar wind. My energetic body parts, not my physical body parts. So
Astral?
for me, I'd always had this terror of the wind, just terror. But the wind had the power to kind of rip out the defense mechanisms of my cerebral cortex, of my left brain. So
Mm,
the wind had the power to like rip out the separation technology that was keeping me from feeling my heart.
mm.
And so I was almost going to the ER on the
So
day.
was this like February 5th, 6th, and
This is
7th?
February, the night of
Okay.
February 7th, the wind started. Frank came over Sunday, February 8th, and I practically fell to the ground just trying to get a plate from the cupboard. And I was like, I need to go to the hospital. And he came and he was helping me move my bed
Uh-huh.
into my new house. And I was just like, we sat down and we started to sing. Because I usually when I sing, I feel better. And we started singing, "You are the sun, I am the moon.
You are
The
the
words,
words,
I
I
am
am
the
the
tune.
tune.
Play
Play
me."
me.
And I felt this energy like wafting. Then we sang the wedding song together, and it was really
So,
beautiful.
okay,
And
we
so I
know.
have to tell you, so I felt this
Yeah.
energy wafting literally from his sweater, like tangibly, like smoke coming out of his sweater into my heart. And I went, oh my God, what is that? And I hear this voice, that's his heart. And then I said, that's it. That's the man I'm going to be with for the rest of my life. And I still, my cognitive mind was like, no way. But this marriage has always been the feminine. It's always been the spirit leading my
Mhm.
mind. All the separation consciousness of my mind would have had me miss the greatest love of my life. So it's been the feminine all the way. The goddess owns this relationship.
Mm.
Yep.
So, Frank, did you have uh, any idea or any plan that night on the 7th or the 8th or whatever?
She was dropping hints a little bit. I
So
mean,
she's
on
good.
some level, she must have known what was coming. I'd love to say it was a complete surprise, but
Really? Was I dropping
she's.
hints?
We
Well,
had
you
dinner.
chose "You Are the Sun and I Am the Moon" in the wedding song. I mean, for Christ's sake, I don't think
Exactly.
Frank
I
came up with
sing
that.
love songs all the time.
But a couple hours earlier, we were having a conversation, and we can't do that. You're not my boyfriend yet. And I'm like, huh?
Oh, I did say that.
So it would have been funnier if it was if I could be totally flabbergasted, like, oh,
To me, it felt like a complete surprise because I had no intention. Absolutely no intention.
So what did you say to what was he doing that you said to him, "You can't do that. You're not my boyfriend."
I don't know. We were at
I don't
Boston
know.
Market.
Something about the food, I
I
guess.
think he was going to pay for me at
Oh,
Boston
Maybe
Market.
so.
And I said, you can't do that,
oh, I thought maybe he was going to eat off your plate.
We probably already did that.
So the February 8th comes. Who kissed who?
Well, who did, honey? Oh, I had you trace the meridian line of my body.
I think it
Well,
was like we talked about the fact that we were going to have a kiss, and then we had to go through this weird metaphysical process first.
you had to trace her meridian lines on her body.
Yeah.
This wouldn't make it in a movie script.
I think it would make it in a movie script.
Yeah, I had him go up my right leg, so
Uh-huh.
right because masculine, and then from the toe, and then we crossed over, I think right around the hip, and then up the left hip, up this meridian into the conception meridian to the mouth, and then because that's the masculine opening to the feminine channel to allow the kiss.
Man, that's some serious foreplay.
It was serious. I was undoing a death spell that was completely like keep out. So we
So
had to
one,
trace that meridian.
so once he traces your meridians, which is really really kind of hot.
It only happened once, that one time. After that, I didn't.
So once he,
And I was there for the night.
He was there for the whole night.
oh, he didn't leave that night. Oh
He
my
didn't
God,
leave.
you guys are wild.
When we first kissed, we saw this pink. I saw this beautiful pink and orange and this incredible fuchsia. And I felt just dolphins leaping like we were in Hawaii or something. It was just unbelievable. I was like, whoa.
Wow. So did he ever leave?
Yeah, he had to go drive his taxi the next morning.
But I mean, like, like, was he shacking up there from that point?
After that, we moved in pretty soon.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think like 6
we were
weeks
always
later.
together. It was just like we were always together.
I wanted to wait 6 months, and she says, "No, it's time to go. It's time to go now. get a place."
So first it was hell no, and then it became get your ass over here.
Yep, pretty much. Hell no, get your ass over
That's
here.
like Morgan. I asked Morgan to marry me literally 100 times, and she said
Wow.
no. And then one day I walked into a kitchen where we were staying in Georgia, and she goes, "Oh, we're gonna go to New Jersey and get married." I'm like, okay. So I think the feminine is leading all these relationships. The feminine energy, yeah. The pink fuchsia you saw.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So you guys have 25 years. I mean, you've gone through. I mean, so this was 96, 97, and obviously you're both in, drinking the Kool-Aid. You're going to Sufi dances. You're dressing as fish and dolphins and mermaids. So that part of it, and I know that in that area that those types of communities kind of sprung up before other places.
Here's our cat photo bombing. Just
there you go. There you go.
Our child.
So what, like, in terms of just the way things have gone, I mean, like, even leading up to 2012, were you guys like focused on what was happening to the world, or was it more of a, your own life developing?
We had 9 years to try not to kill each other. Basically, we had Armageddon in this relationship between the mental body. We were transforming the collective grid of victim-victimizer software and enemy patterning for the entire collective just by living through this marriage.
So basically, for the first 9 years, it was the War of the Roses. Yeah.
The war. It was absolute. Yeah. It was absolute. What? Like just war. We had a shaman who would help us, and we'd go. We'd come into these triggers and these traumas, and we'd just be like, Frank would always say, I'm going to go it's time for me to go my separate way. That was his big thing. I'd be like, nope, time to call the shaman. And so we'd call the shaman, and we'd get in there just like a car mechanic, right? He'd like take it all apart, and he'd tell us exactly what we had to do, whose needs weren't getting met. And mostly in the beginning, it was all me. He'd just say, Sarah, go look in the mirror. Everything you're doing to Frank is what you want to do to yourself, So, yeah, and I've had a few people. Remember, honey, a few people have actually said that without Frank, I would have died by the age of 40.
But you didn't.
The amount of enemy patterning in my mind would have shut off my vagus nerve. So he saved me. It was the alchemy of that self-hatred in this alchemical container that allowed me to alchemize the self-hatred in my mind. That's what incredible. And I know I did stuff for you, but I can't help but feeling like you gave me more than I gave you in a way.
So Frank, how did you keep from going your own separate way like you told her?
Well, she said, no, we're not separating. I guess what really impressed me was that she said it was being together was written in the stars. Another time she said that this was part of our pre-birth plan.
Yeah.
To come together and be together, and I couldn't really rule that possibility out because I'd read books.
Yeah.
I was really into life after death and life before life, all the stuff, and I thought, wow, that feels like it could be true. I don't know that it's not. So
But our inner
I wanted to,
children.
I was interested in continuing to try to make it work.
But we also
Um,
had our inner
There's
children,
also
honey.
that. It was hard to.
We had
Love.
this love between our inner child parts was just so huge. It was like, we want to frolic in the meadow. Why are you
It was a
angry? I want to play. We have this playful love together, you know, that would not let go. It just would not.
That helps a lot. If your inner child if your inner child has an attachment to the other person's inner child, you can weather a lot of storms.
Yeah.
At some point during this 9 years, were you like, did it come into your awareness that, hey, we're doing something here? Like you said it a minute ago, but I mean, like, were you able to approach it, together, knowing that there was something bigger than what it seemed?
I don't know, honey. For you, it took a long time. I knew it from the minute I felt his heart.
Took a long it took a long time. I did. We actually got married about 8 or 9 years,
9 years.
into living together.
It took 9 years before we could really penetrate the veil of separation. It was pretty much war until then. We just didn't know if we were going to be able
So
to
you
make
so you, so you lived together, and for all intents and purposes, you were married.
Yeah.
And then, but when this 9 year period ended, then you actually went through and had a
the
ceremony.
legal. And when we went through the legal procedure, the legal marriage, a ton of the dark entities that were attacking the shit out of us just stopped. It was like we had won. When we signed that marriage agreement, we had defeated the
Yeah,
dark.
there's something about what happens to any of us when we make up our mind.
It was big. I mean, it was big. I actually had a psychic. I can't remember his name. Robert. Can't remember his last name. Anyway, and he did a lot of psychic surgery on me. And he actually
Mm.
told me that I had an ex-husband from a past life who was literally sabotaging, looking out through my eyes and completely just attacking Frank. And
Mm.
so once Robert removed him, it was done. It was literally done. I never attacked Frank again. But I had to go through 9 years to get him out of there.
Wow. So
Yeah.
obviously, I mean, you're super sensitive. I mean, we've done shows together. I know
Yeah.
you, Frank. And in a lot of these relationships, most of the time, the feminine's pulling in the information, and sharing it basically. And so the masculine tends to have this knowing going on. But were you aware of all this stuff that she's talking about? Were you seeing things in that way, or were you seeing it in a different way, in a simpler way, or did you even discuss it? Did y'all discuss these things?
We
Definitely
discussed.
She shared it with me, and I trusted that how should I put it, that it could be true.
Yeah.
I just felt like, okay, I'm gonna go with it, roll
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's out there. Sorry, go ahead.
what was the biggest difference? Well, you already said that something changed in terms of, like, let's just say, negative energy. Once you had the ceremony, so that would have been what, like 2005?
2006, February 6th.
2006, February 6th. And so, like, what were the biggest changes? Was there a more noticeable change beyond what you already mentioned?
We just never, the annihilating force that was inside of me toward him was gone. And we still had triggers, we still had things come up and issues, but the level of that projecting self hate, hatred that would come from my ex-husband, which was of course a portion of my mind that was, it's all the law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I had a contract with my ex-husband so I could alchemize that level of hatred because it matched my own. So
Right.
it's all me. But the marriage was really, it was really saying, okay, you're ready. You've dealt with this dark masculine for long enough, and now you get to just be with your husband.
Mm.
So, yeah, I mean, it didn't end all of our struggle, but it really changed things, didn't it, honey?
Yeah, the conflict
really.
was starting to get more spread out, less frequent.
Yeah, and less intense. I never
Yeah.
felt. I used to. I mean, we're not going to talk about the things that I used to say. Hey, we were going to sing a song about our love.
Okay.
Would you like to hear a song?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So this is a little song that it's pretty
The
simple.
one
But
about
it's
We Are
called Let's
Love.
Do You Are Do you want to do You Are My Love or You Are Love? Let's do this one.
Okay, let's go.
We walk on a path of love and delight. We walk through the long dark night, weaving the threads of the new day. Every step of the way. You are, you are, you are my love, my love, my love. You are, you are, you are my love. We know the way. We weep with joy, with love and with light, healing the heart with love, anchoring the threads here within us that dances in the stars above. You are, you are, you are my love, my love, my love. You are, you are, you are my love. We know the way. So
Wow. That was pretty amazing. That was like really, that's a first.
one of our
It's,
little songs.
what was your biggest challenge after 2006? What would you
Hmm.
say?
What
Or
was it?
was there a recurring challenge or anything like that?
We had a lot of challenge with polyamory was one of our biggest challenges,
And money.
and money. That's still a big challenge. Yeah, money, polyamory, my health,
Hmm.
going through the level of alchemizing death, not having much sex drive, not being able to have children. Frank really wanted children, and, he would have loved to have a woman who was financially self-sufficient and just much more anchored in 3D. I think you pictured like, the picket fence and, 3 kids and the, 2 incomes, more of a grounded person. I think and then I get my downloads, and it's hard for him to sleep when these massive downloads are pouring through me. And then I get attacks in the night. And, he has to maintain a full-time job through my whole entire, labor and delivery 15 times over in the
Wow.
last. So he's amazing. He deserves like a t-shirt that says, I survived the tour of Sarah Hope Adams.
It sounds like in its in the beauty of the polarity, the magnetics, that you're the fairy, and he's the earth, like the
Yeah.
grounding, I mean, it obviously it works. And uh
Mm,
I guess, Frank, you're like a rock.
he's like a rock.
Yeah.
He's like he holds my kite string.
Yeah.
He's so grounded. I mean, like, who was that, honey, that said that you were an oak tree? You know,
Yeah.
an oak tree with that incredible trunk,
Yeah.
that incredible, bullies would try to knock him off his feet and he wouldn't fall. They'd hurt their legs trying to kick him because his legs were so sturdy in the ground, you know.
I do have short, stocky legs, which helps.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so
Anyway,
health and polyamory and money. Let's pick polyamory first, because that's
great.
interesting. We've never talked. Well, we have talked about it on the
Yeah.
show a couple of times, but not in this type of
Yeah.
way. So,
So
I mean, obviously, you guys are progressive thinkers, kind of, and you were in an environment that was progressive.
very much.
Portland would be, especially like back in the
Yeah.
'90s and so on.
Oh yeah.
So, how did that come about? How long did it last, and how did you manage it?
Yeah, well, this is my PhD, so I'll go ahead.
Figuratively speaking, yeah.
Figuratively speaking, well, so I
Well,
guess
you got
Alex
invited.
was first in 1998. So I've had romantic love addiction so I think I told you, Todd, that my soul was shattered into 627 pieces in ancient Lemuria. And
Okay.
627 pieces of this fractured windshield have to somehow unify to bring the angelic human that is the
S-
divine blueprint in here. And
Sounds like a
so,
job. Sounds like a job for the oak tree.
yeah, the chosen way to unite those pieces has been romantic love addiction. I probably could have done it through ayahuasca trips, through LSD, through different mind altering drugs. I probably could have brought the pieces back, but I
Mm,
was terrified of drugs. And so romantic love was my drug. That my romantic love was gave me the map to keep pulling in more of the windshield and healing it. And
mm.
so I fell in love 27 times. 28? 27.
While
20.
you've been together.
While we've been together. Only two of them were physical. Three of them? Two of them? Can't keep track. Wait. Brad.
There was a few. Justin.
No.
And
Justin.
so this was understood by both of you, and you
Yeah.
both went into it with together.
Well, when we first, it wasn't really planned when we first
Right.
moved in together, but these things kind of came up spontaneously.
Yeah. It just started happening, and my shaman was like, well, this is your way. This is how you unify your pieces. So you're just
Mm,
going to have to, it doesn't have to be physical, but
mm,
it's going to keep happening.
Somehow I never felt she was going to leave me for someone, because she was very, I think it's because she told me this was just a tour of duty or something to that effect. She was very reassuring, and
Yeah, every person I fell in love with was like a home delivery agent.
mhm,
They gave me the map, and then I pulled all the pieces in, stabilized for a couple months, and then someone else gave me a map. So the
mhm,
maps kept coming because I had to get 627 pieces back to one by the time the veil lifted, off the earth. I had to, my earth mission to prevent pole shift in 2012, I had to have gone through all 27
mm.
of those windshield healings. So yeah, it was intense. And I remember Frank just being like, we were on number 16, and he's like, how many more? Like, how
Number what?
16?
Oh, I
And
thought you
he's
said
like,
60. I
how
was like,
many more? Right. And I'm like, I don't know. And I keep thinking, oh, maybe this is the last one. Maybe I'm coming back now.
so, I mean, it sounds similar to a lot of things. I mean, you talk, at some level, you were merging with these men, and so I guess there was some part of it was that, I guess, as you pulled your pieces back in. So, but now, and of course, you're very out here, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just, we know a lot of people like this in the community that
Oh
are
yeah,
more galactic or more cosmic, and then others being more earthy, like myself or like Frank. But now, but then there's the human aspect. Now, Sarah, I'm sure your human aspect was kind of in the back seat or the passenger seat, and
totally backseat. My
right,
human aspect has had like almost no airtime
right,
on this earth, except for this. It started this January. I'm now human.
good. That's good. A lot of us are getting there. Frank, what was it like for you? What did you struggle at all? You seem very uncharged by the whole discussion.
Well, it's been a few years. We were surrounded by the poly community, and we
Yeah.
went to Network for New Culture summer camp, and
Love tribe.
so we were so immersed in all that stuff that I was starting to me, it seemed like, oh, okay, so we're just part of this poly community, and I wanted to explore that, and um, but that didn't work out quite. It was a real struggle for her, and so that became, I
It was
think,
hard because it wasn't equal, right?
I was
So,
feeling
I couldn't
like
handle it.
I was
okay.
feeling
Oh, I see. So
she was
you,
becoming
so
jealous, and that
okay.
was bugging me.
We
So,
had some struggle over that.
well, I would imagine any couple would. Now, so
Mhm.
Frank was looking to pick up a few aspects of himself as well, and you weren't okay with it, right?
Well, I wouldn't say it like that. I would say it like I had primordial terror because
Right.
my root chakra and my heart were so grafted to him as my lifeline. His weren't grafted to me like that. See, so it was much easier for me to be with people than it was for me
And it's
for
not like
him.
she was trying to
And
put
I
a
wasn't
cage,
trying.
like plunk a cage around me. It was more like she was
I was gonna
sincerely,
die. I literally thought I would die.
she tried to
I
open
Wow, I
tried.
up.
don't know how that's amazing. That's
It
almost
was.
it's mind blowing.
So for at some point, I was really getting that it was truly very painful for her, and she
Okay.
wanted to be more open and more flexible, but I just didn't want to keep pushing that issue.
I
And
think you actually had that dream. You had the dream that like there were mountain hikers, sorry to interrupt, but like that people were hiking mountains and they were strong and all this stuff, but that I had like this hole in my heart and I just couldn't do the mountain. And that helped you to understand.
So obviously Frank had the insight and the strength, right, to see
Yeah.
it through. Yeah, and not to
See it
get
through.
caught up in the human, the human part of it, the human conditioning, and actually see it from a higher perspective or a
Yeah.
multidimensional perspective.
I
Yeah.
really appreciate that, honey, when you were able to actually, because it was difficult. Um, but when he was actually able to get that there was something in me that really um, was so vulnerable and so afraid.
Yeah.
And so it was really, he's just
Well,
been a beautiful support.
I mean,
Such a supportive, loving man. I couldn't have asked for anyone. It's just so beautiful as my Frank.
yeah, yeah.
flatters me, but I'm not exactly a saint.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you're not a saint, but every time there's a juncture where we have to choose love and care for each other. You
Mm.
choose it. We may have a trigger, we may, you know what I mean? We may pick up a weapon, but we put it down and we come back to love, and that's what matters. It's not that we're not gonna like
Yeah,
pick up.
your love superseded anything and everything. Like, so I mean, really, it sounds like from that February the 8th sleepover that it was locked in from that point. Did
Yeah,
you ever have times when you had to move out or live in a different place from each other?
We
Never?
never.
managed to
Wow.
avoid that. I drove off in my car and parked for like an hour and a half, like for an hour one time. So I think we had a 1 hour separation a couple of times.
An hour. And then the inner children would be like, honey, come back. Okay,
Wow.
I'm coming back, honey.
I mean, as a couple, you're amazing. You're absolutely amazing. And I got to say, because well, I'll just say, Frank, you're a fucking G, man. I mean, you're an OG. There's no doubt. Uh, but I mean, obviously, you have the individual journeys, the couple's journey, and then also, we all know whatever we're doing individually or as a couple or even as a group, we're serving the collective energetically on our kind of our microcosm actions, right?
Yeah.
Um, so God, that's okay. So when did that end? When did that period end?
The conflict.
2012 was the end of polyamory, right
Okay.
before pole
Yeah.
shift prevention. I was on the pole shift prevention team on December 20th at 11:55, 2012, and I finished my last windshield, kind of mending right before I went down into the pole shift threat.
Yeah.
So I had to have enough of my
Yeah.
central vertical column connected to the Earth's Gaia and Tara central vertical column to hold the position of the planet.
Yeah.
And so I had to have all those pieces in. By that time, by 2012, it was over and never happened again.
So how did that make you feel, Frank? I mean, did you know at the time? Did y'all both know for sure? Like, this is it. It's done. That part's over. No,
I
you
don't
didn't know.
I assumed maybe another romantic love addiction might come at some point, but I don't think assume is right. But I was open.
You got used to it,
I
There were so
realized it
many.
seemed like a possibility. But
Yeah.
anyway, in retrospect, looking back, yeah, she was done, and we've been. It seems like monogamy is working out for us. It seems like a
Well,
good choice for us.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, polyamory is very threatening, because you can just easily leave the relationship and find another person and then you're gone. And
yeah.
this container of sacred marriage, I think, is the most powerful stabilizing force for good on the planet, because the love, when two people exchange love and hold a committed, like a sacred cathedral to
Yeah.
process and alchemize their shadow, it actually is like a portal to
Yeah.
God. That it's the most
Absolutely.
sacred
Yeah.
thing. In fact, we want to be relationship counselors. Frank he just graduated from a relationship coaching, um, yeah, seminar or whatever. He has a certificate, and I got it from the School of Hard Knocks. I'm
Yeah.
ready to go. So
I think you both did. But it's a testament because how many, it's one thing for an individual, like we can all relate to this. We've all had the dark night of the soul type of energy. So it's one thing for an individual to know both ends of the spectrum, right? But it's another thing for a couple, especially given the timeline that you're talking about, because it's not like you picked the slowest moving energetic time period. I mean, this is like fast track, full blast,
yeah,
full court press. I mean,
really,
so I would imagine that you would have a lot to offer because of your experience and the fact that you can talk about it so openly and no charge. I mean, the only uh, emotion I've seen is reverence and tears of gratitude from, I mean, that's pretty awesome.
yeah. I don't think I'd be alive without Frank. I really don't. I think to handle the depth of the instability of the multidimensional energies that
Yeah.
come at me. Our cat just jumped up. having his love and his support, all these years. Just
So he's basically like Tony from My Dream of Jeannie, the astronaut, and your genie. It's like
yeah.
so. And what about the Frank? What about like when she was talking a while ago about getting her downloads during the night, or just the genie type of occurrences and experiences? I mean, I just look at you, Frank, and it's like you take everything with a grain of salt. Like, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, do you ever get rattled by any of that stuff, or how do you assimilate all that?
She speaks in long sentences, and there's a lot of unfamiliar jargon and so it's a little bit hard to follow. And sometimes I wish I could absorb the information as fast as it's coming at me, because some of it sounds kind of interesting. A lot of it, I mean, it's all very interesting. Sometimes I have a reaction if she starts veering into a scientific topic and she's talking about something that conflicts with my scientific worldview, and then I want to have a debate.
In the middle of a download.
He does. He wants to debate right in the middle of this rushing Niagara Falls. And I'm like, I don't have time. I'm just
Oh, the other thing that rattles me is if I'm trying to sleep and she wants to tell me all about it.
I try to go to the other room and get the tape recorder.
Right.
I pretend like he's there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But
she's getting real good about going to the other room.
And I can get my phone under the covers and do the whole download, typing it while he's sleeping. So
once in a blue moon, though, I'm awake when she's awake and it's 4 a.m. It's kind of fun because then we can.
That's my favorite.
Can share all that stuff.
Do you ever get any directions from her? Because I know, like with Morgan and I, she'll get a download and then she's like, "Okay, you need to go do this, and you need to go do that, and we need to do this." And yeah, we've had some pretty interesting experiences.
That's interesting. There are some things. Well, just the idea of working with couples. I was never interested in that. I resisted for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. But she, and she didn't come across like, well, I'd like you to really consider this. It's more like, well, this is what we're going to do. This is in our future. This is, it's already there.
Yeah.
So I started to open up to it more and more.
Well, it's inevitable. They're like a storm. They're like the ocean.
Yes.
Right? They're like the ocean. Like, you'll spend many, many thousands of lifetimes even making a dent in the, because of such a volume of energy, right?
Yeah. So I'm guided by the power of storm in my Mayan calendar, right? So like I am like a storm almost in that movement.
Well, that's the whole beauty of the feminine, is the unknown. The unknown. I mean,
yeah.
So y'all are like, I mean, I guess you've known that since February the 8th, 1996.
Yeah, it was like a contract. The minute I felt his heart, it was like, this is it, right? And it was no choice. It was absolute command from the higher level.
Yeah.
Like a lightning strike.
So, Frank, what do you love the most about Sarah? What do you admire the most? What stands out?
Oh, gosh. Oh, there's so many things.
Well,
Well, I love that she's tuned in to the higher energies and the higher, it's like her higher self is talking to her all the time. I mean, my higher self might be talking to me all the time, but she's got the ears to hear it. And, she's even been channeling for people lately, and that's like really interesting. The other thing, well, I just love all the music she writes. There's let's see. Oh, and things roll up. I mean, it's hard to get her. Sometimes when we've been in conflict, people can really get hurt and shut down. in conflict. Sarah bounces back very quickly, and doesn't hold on to grudges, and I really we both really benefit from that.
Yeah. As soon as
Resilient.
you direct the ship, we're sailing again. There's no delay.
That's a powerful trait for both of you, really. So, what about you, Sarah? What do you love the most about Frank that you haven't already kind of alluded
Oh,
to?
let's see. The sincerity of his heart, the the playfulness, uh, the desire to do good, the care for human and animals, the way he loves animals, the way you're so cute. Remember when you were holding that rabbit when we went to that farm? The way, just the tenderness of his heart and the compassion of his mind, perhaps. Yeah, he's a he's an amazing being. I feel I'm very glad I didn't miss him. I'm glad the wind, the strong wind came and delivered me to his heart.
How do you interact with Sarah's puppets? I love her puppets, by the way.
Are they around
Oh
here?
yeah, he likes to play with my puppets.
We get into conversations, the puppets and I sometimes.
Oh
In fact,
wait, we should do a little tiny bit of Elmo and Miss Piggy, just a teeny bit.
oh dear.
Oh please, oh please, oh please, Todd. He does the
Yeah, go
best
ahead.
Miss Piggy. He does the
Oh, he
best
does
Miss
Miss Piggy and
Piggy.
you're
Oh
Elmo.
my
The
God.
thing is, I think she's copyrighted.
Oh, who cares?
Doesn't care if Miss Piggy's copyrighted. Elmo doesn't even have a mouth because he's not a real puppet. Okay, Miss Piggy, so Elmo's going to call you on the telephone. You're going to answer. Ding, 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 ring. I'm Miss Piggy. Wait, you got to let me do the
Oh,
ringtone.
okay.
Miss Piggy, the best piggy in town. Miss Piggy, you can answer anytime. Miss Piggy.
Hello, this is Miss Piggy.
Miss Piggy, Elmo knows that Uncle Grover is going to have you babysit him on Saturday night. Elmo wants to play with your lingerie.
Oh, I think I have other plans.
Elmo,
I think I have a date.
you can't have a date. Elmo needs to be babysat.
Okay, well, let me see if I can postpone it.
Elmo says, hurry up.
Okay, it's postponed.
Anyway, I won't make him do it. But isn't it amazing? What a great Miss Piggy.
So, do you guys ever perform together? With
Yeah.
Pig?
Yeah, I drag him up on the stage to do music with me.
Yeah, I
Not
was
that
going to say.
so far, but yes, music. Yeah.
Hey, babe, we did do at summer camp. Remember, we did Elmo and Miss Piggy, a
Oh,
polyamory
oh
stint.
God.
We had like
Jeez.
we had Miss Piggy was like having an orgy with all the
Oh
Sesame
my
Street,
God, you're
and
crazy.
Frank did. Honey, what did you do? You did the Mr. Snuffleupagus. Okay, do him really quick.
Oh, hello, Big Bird.
And then he did, and then
You
you did
guys are a riot, man. You guys are like you
because he
guys.
said wee. Big Bird, do Big Bird.
Oh, it's hard to do him.
So
Try.
Hi, Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Pretty good.
he could be a backup. He could be a backup for Sesame Street.
Big Bird. Okay.
Uh,
Anyway,
so like I mean, 25 years and all of this that we've crammed into in an hour. But like it's obvious the expanse of your shared experience and the range of it is amazing. It and you mentioned earlier part of it doesn't even matter what part was imbalanced. How do you feel about it today? And there's no perfect answer and there's no right answer. I'm just curious. How do you guys look at it today? Do you feel like it's a 50-50 proposition, all the time or most of the time? I mean, is it more fluid? Are you still having fluctuations like a lot of people are these last couple of years as individuals with all the energy coming down?
Yeah, I mean, I would. Do you want to answer first, Denny, or shall I?
I feel like it's getting closer all the time.
It's navigating, right? We're
Yeah.
navigating a vehicle together, right?
Mm.
And we're navigating a vehicle in a time of tremendous disclosure, purging, triggering, ascension symptoms, the death of one entire way of being and the birth of a new earth. I mean, um, it's kind of like, we're learning to steer the ship, and it's going to go off course sometimes, and learning to bring it back. And like in our relationship counseling, it's all about putting love first, returning. You got to find, okay, what's the trigger? What's the unmet need? How is my amygdala hijacking my higher mind and my heart? And okay, let me give empathy to myself for that trigger, and then let me return to love again. Let us talk about it a bit. Okay, that really triggered me. I felt this. Can you do that next time? Some negotiation, and then you turn the ship back toward love, and you just keep turning towards love as fast as you can.
Yeah, and you don't take the incident with you.
You don't take the incident, and you don't take it personally, and you don't like play around in all the programming. You just go, okay, that was there. Okay, love. Where is it? Where are we
I
going?
can't imagine anyone that knows you, like say they're in Portland on a personal level or even family, whether they understand your lifestyle, like so many of us here that are on the outside kind of looking in from traditional and typical societal norms, let's say. But I can't imagine anyone that knows y'all not looking at you going, "Oh my God, you two are just like, you couldn't find a better match." Do you get any of that from people? Do they ever make
Well,
remarks? Yeah.
Well, I've heard people say, "Wow, you guys are like." I thought you guys had just met a couple of months ago. You act like you're in the romantic, you know, googly-eyed stage of your relationship. They've expressed surprise that we've been together a long time.
Mm.
yeah, I think that, well, the fact that I keep having these new inner child pieces, that just keep coming in because I'm excavating and restoring this human angelic interface in my DNA. So I get new things all the time. Like a few days ago, I had 3 baby dragons just come straight into my solar plexus, and I was like, oh, and it's like this, a few weeks ago, it's this, it's that. There's just new arrivals coming into my field. And every time they come in, they fall in love with Frank again. They love Frank. So every time we go somewhere or we're around people, we're usually really affectionate, a lot. And those childlike, I mean, sometimes we're going through something, but those childlike pieces tend to keep it new, you
Mm-hmm.
could say, right? Our kitty cat
Well, it
is not.
sounds like those aspects coming back into you. Frank's the daddy.
He's the daddy.
Who's your daddy?
He's the daddy of the nursery. Yep. Oh, the
Oh,
cat's purring.
yeah.
Hi. Hi. Oh, purring cat.
Wow.
She's a good girl. Or
Frank, you need to get out more with Sarah. You guys are amazing, and there's a lot to be said for the kind of the what would I say? Kind of like the divine masculine energy being seen. It hasn't been seen. It hasn't really been seen. Just like the feminine wasn't seen. Everything was distorted. But yeah, you guys should. I don't know if you guys want to do another song as we head out the door.
Yeah,
yeah, we've actually got what do we do,
Oh.
sweetie? We could try to do we could
You are love.
you want to do
Do
you
you
are
have something
love?
else you're thinking
Well,
of?
no, I just was thinking maybe we could do the wedding song if you want. It's
Yeah.
a little harder for me to play, but it's such a sweet song. Okay, I may mess this up, but I'll do my best. I better be in tune. Pause for tuning. Rest assured his troubadour is acting on his part. The union of your spirits here has caused him to remain. Whenever two or more of you are gathered in his name, there is love. Oh, there's love. When a man shall leave his mother and a woman leave her home, they shall travel on to where the two shall be as one. As it was in the beginning, is now until the end. Woman draws her life with man and gives it back again. There is love. Oh, there's love. So then what's to be the reason for becoming man and wife? Is it love that brings you here, or love that brings you life? And if loving is the answer, then who's the giving for? Do you believe in something that you've never seen before? Oh, there's love. There is love. He is now to be among you at the calling of your hearts. Rest assured his troubadour is acting on his part. The union of your spirits here has caused him to remain. Whenever two or more of you are gathered in his name, there is love. Yeah, there's love.
We're on camera. She looked at me quite a bit during that song. She usually sings with her eyes closed.
That was obviously, it speaks for itself. You guys are amazing.
Aww.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. Yeah, I just
Thank
yeah.
you, Todd. It's
Thank you
so
for thank you for sharing your energy and being so open, because I think it'll help a lot of people. I mean,
yeah, send them to us. We're here to help.
I have a feeling they'll just be coming to you like a bee to honey. The way the energies are changing and the way they're reciprocating our own, pure intentions and this what you're displaying. So I wish you the best always, and look forward to seeing you down the road sometime. And
Thanks,
love you
Todd.
both, and thank you so much for what you're doing. And
Thank you.
Love you too. Love you, Morgan.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye, everybody.